So as I've kind of been going on this YouTube journey of mine, I've noticed a few things. People, they'll do any, I mean, we say clickbait, but the other thing is people just milking content. So the thing we've seen recently was there was a small leak from a random person on a blog. They had a leak about the Pokemon Presents that happened last month, and then they also mentioned things for the next Switch. So automatically, every YouTube content creator had to put out a video on Switch 2s, confirm what's it going to be, this, that, and the third. Honestly, I'm not mad at it. Like, get your money. I don't care what you got to do. You know, the world is yours. People going to watch it. Do what you got to do. But for me, as someone who's not, you know, a full-time content creator, you know, I don't feel the need to do those things. So I don't really want to hop on like, oh, every time there's a leak or a rumor about this or what's this mean and all that. Like, we're definitely going to have, you know, some calm, chill discussions here on the channel. But, you know, I didn't want to just go off of like rumors and stuff like that. What I did want to go over in today's video is the Nintendo Switch 2. What do I want it to be? What do I want it to have? What capabilities, things like that. And then what are my actual predictions around like what will Nintendo give us? So a lot of people say like, hey, they gotta do this or they're going to do this, and it's all based on what they actually want. So that's why I kind of wanted to split the video into two. So we're going to talk about this guy's successor right here, talk about what we want, what we actually predict is going to happen, and, you know, we'll see. Maybe in a year or so, we'll see how, you know, we'll come back to this video, see if I was right or not. So if you're new to the channel, make sure you leave a like. Hit that subscribe button. Definitely helps out trying to get to 500 subscribers, hopefully 1,000 by the end of the year. And let's get right into it. So the first thing on my list of wants is pretty much what everybody wants, and that is backwards compatibility. But not just any type of backwards compatibility. I need full backwards compatibility. And what do I mean by that is, you know, we've seen even with current consoles, like let's say the Xbox Series X. Xbox has done such a good job with backwards compatibility, but it is still limited. Like, they pick certain games from certain systems that they're going to put out backwards compatibility for. You know, Xbox has even come out and say like, hey, we're done. Like, whatever for the 360 that is backwards compatible, that's it. So, you know, it leaves people to have to look up and see like, hey, can I play this game still? Do I need to keep my old system? You know, is there plans in the future to bring this game over to backwards compatibility? So for me, I want them to do full backwards compatibility. So the Switch being a hybrid makes it less cumbersome to kind of keep these systems around. You know, if you want the extra money, sure, but it's not like keeping a whole PlayStation 3 or an extra Xbox or anything lying around. So, you know, I've contemplated if I wanted to keep my Switch, you know, when the new one comes out. I did pre-order the Zelda OLED Tears of the Kingdom special edition that came out the other day. So, you know, that will be my main Switch, and then I'll probably get rid of this one or maybe keep it around. Who knows? Maybe it will be worth something more later down the line. So that's my first one, is I need full backwards compatibility, whether that is, you know, an extra slot like they did with the DS with the GBA games, or a bigger slot, or just whatever. I don't care. It needs to be something physical, not just, oh, you can download your games. I need that on the Switch too. Next up on my list of wants is just an expansion of the Nintendo Switch online service as far as getting new consoles on there. So I think it's time they add the Gamecube and maybe even the Wii. Like, I think the Switch has proven that it can pretty much play anything. Like, it'll just look good. We've got the GBA on there already, Nintendo 64, even the Sega Genesis. So I think it just makes sense to have the GameCube and the Wii coming on there. Now, why I don't think this will happen, or why I think it may not happen, is we're just seeing an amazing amount of ports coming out, especially from the GameCube era. We've seen the Metroid Prime remaster. We've seen, you know, rumors of different other games, F-Zero, things like that, probably getting remastered. We've seen Wind Waker HD on Wii U that is supposed to come over. Same thing with Twilight Princess. So will they actually do this? Who knows? They'll definitely get a lot more money just, you know, repackaging the game, updating the graphics a little bit, and then just slapping a $60 charge on there. Even though Metroid Prime Remaster was only $40, so who knows? But I would love to see the GameCube and the Wii come on, especially since I never owned a GameCube, and I would like to go back and, play some of these games that people are now highly seeking after on the aftermarket. Now, my next one on the list is I need it to be an OLED. Like, I don't think it makes any sense for them to have a standard and OLED version of the new system. Like, if we already have the standard version of this, and then, like I said, I ordered the OLED for the Zelda Tears of the Kingdom because I do want that better resolution, the better screen, everything like that. So it just makes sense. I mean, I feel like it would be kind of like a back step to get a Switch 2 and it doesn't have an OLED system on it. Like I mean, again, it's Nintendo. They could do whatever. Like, there was rumors around them having an OLED Switch Lite, but the Switch Lite doesn't sell. Like, it's the worst selling out of all of the models. So an OLED Switch 2, whether you got to throw extra money on it or whatever, I think it just, whatever they do with that, there needs to be an OLED. Like, every version or model of the Switch 2 needs to have an OLED screen, non-negotiable. And then the last thing on my list for my wants, it's literally like, it's a long shot. Like, it most likely will not happen, but we've been seeing different agreements here between Xbox and Nintendo. We've seen Ori on the Switch, we've seen them, we threw Doom on there, we got Banjo is allowed to be in Smash, which Xbox owns Rare. We've seen the deal where they're trying to do with Call of Duty and all that. So listen, I would like to see Game Pass on the Switch. Now, of course, depending on how the Switch does as far as resolution, I feel like 1080 is like standard. Like, it needs to be at that. But maybe certain games aren't on Game Pass. But I don't know how you would, market that. Maybe they can bring some games that Xbox now has the license for and put it on Nintendo or something on a subscription service. I don't know. They can do something. There's a lot of things they could do. They have the cloud going on, everything like that. So again, it's a long shot, but I would like to see Game Pass / XCloud, some type of interaction like that on the Switch 2. Will it happen? Probably not, but I'd like to see it. Now let's come back to Earth, and we're going to talk about the actual predictions and the realistic situation that Nintendo's probably going to have us in. So let's talk about what I think Nintendo's actually going to do. So the first thing on there is I think there will be backwards compatibility, but I think it will be limited. So I think all Nintendo first party games, so Metroid, Donkey Kong, Zelda, Mario, all those games will definitely be backwards compatible, but I feel like maybe some of the smaller games, indie games, or like maybe the lesser known franchise that didn't sell that well, like I don't think you can just buy any random Nintendo Switch game and just pop it in the Switch 2 and it's just gonna work. Like, I feel like they're not willing to deal with that, adding, I know there's licenses involved with that, there's a whole bunch that goes into backwards compatibility, which is why like a lot of people get mad about it, but like realistically, as modern technology gets larger and we keep adding these new systems, it is hard to just keep putting all these games on there, especially if they're going to remaster them and give us a, obviously it's to make money, but give us a better definitive version of the game. So realistically, I do think there will be backwards compatibility, but I think it will be a limited form of it where, the majority, we'll say like 85 to 90% of the Switch games will be on there, or maybe some of them will be like the digital only version or something like that. But, we'll just have to wait and see. But that's my prediction for that. Now, prediction number 2. And 2 is very fitting because Switch 2, and also I think 2 years of cross-gen releases. So we've been seeing it, obviously is a little different with COVID and everything like that, but we've seen a lot of PS5 and PS4 versions of games come out. You pay for the little upgrade and stuff like that, or the Xbox One version, Xbox Series. So I think we are going to see like a Switch version and a Switch 2 version, definitely of the major releases and stuff like that. I don't know if they'll actually re-release games that came out on the Switch. Like, I don't think there'll be a Tears of the Kingdom version for Switch 2. Like, I think that game was built for Switch, that's it. But for new games that could say Metroid Prime 4, or if they do the Metroid remasters, or Odyssey 2 if that exists. I do believe there will be a Switch version and then a Switch 2 version. And I'll be honest, I do not think Nintendo's going to do the whole, hey, yeah, you get this and then you pay $10 or you get the free upgrade. Like, I'll be honest, like, it was very consumer friendly, but we were definitely running that up. But the PlayStation and Xbox, we was running that. I was finding, $15, $20 versions of PS4 or Xbox One games and then just getting the free upgrade or paying the $10 instead of paying $60, $70. Like, Nintendo's not going for that, bro. They've had enough time to watch Microsoft, watch Sony. They're not going for that. So I do think we will be getting cross-gen titles for Switch and Switch 2. I won't be double dipping. I know some people may be getting the Switch versions because they'll be going out of print soon and things like that. But I'll just stick to my Switch 2 versions personally. And then my last prediction is, I kind of alluded to it earlier, but multiple models. So, I think Nintendo kind of knew what they were doing when they've always done this with their handhelds, right? Like you had the Game Boy Advance, Game Boy Advance SP, Game Boy Pocket, like there was always multiple versions of each, generation of handheld. So with the Switch, you had the OG Switch, then you had the Switch Lite for people that, don't care about dock mode and it's cheaper and things like that. And then you had the Switch OLED, which is like the extreme version for everybody. You got the LAN cable support, the better screen, color, resolution, all that kind of stuff. So I do think they will have multiple models. How many they'll have, I do think they're going to ditch the Lite. Realistically, it just doesn't sell that well. I don't think they care to have that. So I think they'll have it'll have the Lite's capabilities to the point where, they don't have to plug it in and stuff, but it'll be better quality than the Lite. So I think that'll be the cheaper standard version, which may be, let's say, $350. And then we'll have that, stronger, maybe not 4K, but like 1080p in handheld mode, hopefully locked at 60 frames. Probably not, honestly, because the Xbox and PlayStation is still not locked at 60 frames. So 1080p while handheld, maybe upscale up to 1440 or 4K while docked, and then they'll both be OLEDs, and that version will be $400 or something like that. So that's kind of where I see them going with that. I think they'll have the multiple models. Nintendo's always had multiple models, whether it's like I said, the Game Boy with the Game Boy Pocket, the Advance, having the Advance SP with the Micro, the DS, DSi, XL, all those kind of things. So I do think they will continue with the multiple models and then see where it goes from there. And that pretty much does it. So that was my predictions and my wants for the Switch 2. We'll see what happens in the future with this guy. I mean, listen, I love my Switch. I got it in 2018 when Smash got announced, so I've had it for about 5 years. I'm really excited to play the new Zelda game, especially on the OLED system. But, Switch 2, will it come out next year? Oh, I guess that's a little bonus prediction. I do believe it will come out next year, maybe around April or May. Somewhere along there. I think we get an announcement later this year, maybe in October, November, and then we see it in May, on release. And it's going to sell units. It's definitely going to sell units. But y'all let me know, did I miss anything? What are y'all predicting for the Switch 2? Let me know in the comment section below. Leave a like, subscribe if you have not, and I will catch you in the next video.